During Lent, the Church asks us to take up almsgiving in a more intentional way. Now, this does not mean that we shouldn't be giving to the poor all year round. We certainly should. But during this season of prayer and reflection, we are called to discern how we can make almsgiving a more central and a more spiritual practice in our everyday lives. Lent calls us at our own lives to examine where we can deepen our love for the poor and to give sacrificially to the poor. Developing the habit of putting others first, ahead of ourselves, is most definitely a mark of spiritual maturity. We can say it this way too: our own spiritual hungers are satisfied as we tend to the physical hungers of those in need. Throughout the scriptures, God asks us to care for the poor. This is very clear in the Gospel of Matthew, in the story of the sheep and the goats, where Jesus tells us that in the poor we see his very face. He says, "Amen, I say to you, whatever you did for one of these least brothers of mine, you did for me." To encounter the poor is to encounter Christ. All too often, our almsgiving can become disconnected from the people our donations serve. It is easy to write checks or send donations to organizations that we trust, but to never truly think about or meet those we are serving. The more we see the face of the poor, the more we contemplate their plight, and our hearts will be more open and moved to compassion to care for them. So here are 3 practices this Lent to help us encounter Christ and the poor in a new way. Evaluate and pray over your budget. Are you giving sacrificially to the poor? Are you giving first fruits or what is left over? Spend time in prayer, reflecting on the poor in your local community and in your own parish boundaries. How is the Spirit leading you to serve them? Is there something you or your parish community can do better or engage and serve the poor better? Spend time in prayer, reflecting on what worldly things you are attached to. How can letting go of these things in your aid your love to the poor? Know that I am praying for you as we are together led by the Spirit into the desert for these 40 days.